Howdy, this is Mackenzie Franklin from SideGame LLC here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Today I'm going to talk about my top 10 delicious board game components. Now, right off the bat, this is actually 15 through 6. So I actually did this list with Tikyjo over on her channel. So in the description, there will be a link to her channel and you can go see the video. And that is going to actually contain my number 5 to 1. So this is going to be, once again, 15 to 6. But I wanted to share these with you because they're just so many of these games that have delicious components, and I want to explain my ideas behind this, and I just think it's a really fun topic, and I want to go ahead and continue this conversation. So please go check out Tikyjo's channel. Tia and I do a lot of content and that are kind of similar in relation. So if you enjoy my stuff, you're gonna for sure enjoy her stuff. She's got a great channel. Go check it out. Now that being said, I do have 2 honorable mentions before we start. The first one I want to talk about is not from a board game particular. It's a component upgrade, and this is the tokens from Burger Tokens. So these are these epoxy material that actually come in these large sticker sheets. So it looks something like this, and you get them in the mail. They're very cheap to ship. What you actually do is you're going to basically sandwich them on pennies. And they have this delightful, squishy surface, and they remind me of something that's, a candy that has that nice squishy outside, something gummy with a nice solid filling on the inside. So that's why I think they are awesome. They're great to the touch, and I can only imagine what they taste like if they were flavored. So that's one of my honorable mentions, but didn't make the list because it's not actually part of a game. Same thing with this is another component upgrade, and this is just the Geek Up Bit sets as a whole. So this one is particularly for Yellow and Yangtze, but there's so many, Class of Quedlinburg, whatever. And these are these amazing heat transferred plastic components that are created for games to replace the cardboard bits in them. And so this one in particular for Yellow and Yangtze has that awesome plastic combined with bamboo. And I think this looks delicious. It feels great. Probably the best component in a game in general. But these components in particular, I think they would taste amazing. I'm a big fan of curries and bamboo in my curries, and I think that these would taste fantastic. So lots of different colors, lots of different flavors, and I think they'd be great. So those are my 2 honorable mentions, but let's go ahead and get started with my number 10. So once again, 15 to 6, but my number 10 is going to be from the game Spirit Island. So Spirit Island is a game where you play as spirits trying to protect the natives of the island from colonizers that are coming in and trying to blight the land. So you control a unique spirit with your own set of powers. But my favorite component from this game has to be the Dahan themselves. So these represent the natives of the island. They are these little brown mushroom-looking pieces, and I think that they're quite adorable. They're tiny, they're easy to grab, they're kind of rounded on the tops here, once again, like mushrooms. But if I were to eat this, I think it would taste something like, maybe nuts or candy. I think it would have a nice nutty flavor to it, or maybe even a mushroom flavor. And I think they're small and compact, easy to pop in your mouth. You can grab a handful, kind of morbid when you think about it because you're eating the natives of the island. But in a piece fashion, I think this is high up there. So that's my number 10, the Dahan from Spirit Island. My number 9 is going to be from the game Clans of Caledonia. Now, Clans of Caledonia, great game where you are going to be running this manufacturing business as a Scottish clan. So it's your job to, prove your economic might here and trade away things using this awesome market system and build out your empire on this board. Now, the components for this game are so adorable. They're really tiny, really cute, but the one that I think would taste amazing are the little bread pieces. So they're cute little toasts, and can you imagine something small, a little morsel that's buttery yet also crispy? I think that sounds incredible. So I think that they should sell those, just period. Something buttery and toasty, a small snack. If you know something that's like that, that sounds awesome. So that's my number 14, the great little toasts from Clans of Caledonia. Now, my number 13 is for the game Wingspan, and this is a game about, you are a person who owns an aviary. It's your job to bring in these birds for whatever reason, and you're trying to meet some goals while also filling out and having the most successful engine using these bird cards. So really straightforward, fun game, but the component here I want to talk about are the eggs, and they just recently released a speckled eggs pack, Stonemaier Games did, and these are just super nice. So they're very small, very round. They look like candied eggs, and I think they're lovely. So these are great choices here for the game. They look like chocolate, and Stonemaier Games actually did a spoof April 1st. April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day joke where they actually sold brown containers so that way you could put your chocolate eggs into the game and not confuse them with these eggs. Because, you know, sometimes you're using those Cadbury eggs as replacements because they just look so delicious. So I thought that was really fun. Neat little touch there. So that's my number 13, the Wingspan eggs. Now, my number 12 is going to be for the game Oath, Chronicles of Empire and Exile. So this is a fantastic game where you play as a chancellor trying to maintain control of the land, or as an exile trying to usurp the chancellor. And you do this through clever card play and lots of clever decisions and this exploring this expanding and ever-changing system. Now, the components in this game are out of this world, and one of the components here that I think looks delicious are the secrets from Oath. So these have this kind of sweet, tarty, chalky feel to them, kind of that nice sugary flavor, and I think that these would taste a little bit sour, a little bit sweet, very delicious looking, and I love the little gold painting on them. That could be maybe a flavor strip. I just think these look great. They're nice and compact. They're sizable at the same time. They have that nice texture on the sides of the pages, so I love this one, and I think it definitely deserved to be on this list. That's my number 12, the Secrets from Oath. Now, my number 11 is going to go to Everdell. Everdell is a game where you are building a city for these woodland creatures, and it's your job to pick up cards and play them appropriately to try to combo things in order to be the most efficient in a limited amount of time with very small chances to use workers in a worker placement style game. So, fantastic game, a great theme, but the component of this one is probably one that gets the most love here. These are the Everdell berries. So, they're these tiny little rubberized resources that are pink. They look sweet and, completely like something that would pop in your mouth. They remind me of boba, something that you would have gathered at the bottom of your drink and you'd slurp up. They look fantastic. They sound like they'd be delicious, and they just work well in this fantasy land, and I could definitely see myself pocketing a couple of these. So I'm a big fan of berries, blueberries. This is perfect. So those are the berries from Everdell, my number 11. My number 10 comes from the game Vast, the Crystal Caverns. So Vast features some of the most fantastic art, some amazing components, and in this game you are going to be playing as a part of a dungeon. You're either the dragon trying to kill the hero, or trying to escape. You're trying to be the hero trying to kill the dragon, the goblins trying to kill the hero, or you're trying to be the cave who's trying to trap everybody in the cave and eventually collapse. So you have this really asymmetric game where everybody's playing their own separate game, but they're using each other's pieces in different ways. So very interesting game here, but the components in here are out of this world. So I really enjoy the wooden version of this, and specifically I love the components for the goblins. So the Goblin Tribes in this game in the original version are represented by these wooden pieces here. So you have the fangs, you've got the skull tribe, and then you have the eye tribe, and then these large circular discs. And so the red ones here represent power, but the green ones in particular I think just look so good. So they have these really unique shapes. They remind me of Haribo gummies. My friend over at Grumpy Meeple, he recommends you freeze these, and I think that'd be pretty fun. But these look like they would be sour, full of flavor. Oh, fantastic. So I think that these are great choices here, and I think they just look delicious. So a lot of these components look amazing. Oh, just take a look at these. I love the purples. I love the color. Whew, sound awesome. So that's my number 10, the Goblin Tribes from Vast. My number 9 is for Tzolk'in, the Mayan Calendar. Fantastic game where you're going to be putting your workers onto wheels, and these wheels will actually turn, and when they turn, the power of your action increases. So on your turn, you either put workers out or you take them out as you're trying to go up all these different temple tracks as well as collect resources and be the most efficient to win the day. So great style of game, but some of these resources are great. So I love CGE in general for their production, and this is, without a question, an amazing one. One of the resources I really like in this, though, are the crystal skulls. So these are pretty dang awesome. They're these small, but these very robust and kind of jelly-like skulls here. You can see that there's not incredible amount of detail on them, but when you have a grip of them and you've got a handful, these look like straight-up candy, whether it be hard candy or some gummy style of candy. These skulls, like these, they emit this blue, inviting color that you're just like, oh man, I wanna munch on these, and I wanted to highlight them here because I really do think they're a great component, and these are actually a very hard to get component in the game. So when you get them, you feel good when you grab one, and then you'll slot them into one of the appropriate temple tracks on the appropriate wheel. So I think that's really fun. These look so good, and I'd love to give them a try, but unfortunately they're going to taste like plastic in real life. So that's my number 9, the skulls from Tzolk'in. Number 8 is for the game Root. So Root here is a game of woodland fighting, so woodland warfare. So you play as a specific woodland faction of critters, whether it be raccoons or mice or eyrie, and it's your job to win the day by seizing land, completing, victory points in your own unique way, and eliminating your opponent's pieces and tokens for points. So you have lots of cool things happening here, and the core of this game is asymmetry. Now, my favorite component from this game are the creatures themselves, so I think they're pretty dang adorable, but the specific creature I want to talk about are these cute little mice. So one of the factions here, the Woodland Rebellion, has these adorable looking mice. Once again, they look like toast. I don't know, maybe I just really like toast, but these in particular, they're cute, they're small, they're compact, they have these little cute little faces, they're green, so they're probably going to taste lime, maybe a little tart, maybe a little sour. If you notice some similarities on my choices here, I do like that flavoring combo. So these look wonderful. They're looking back at you and they're kind of asking, eat me please. So I love that. They crack me up. So that's the mice from Root, my number 8. My number 7 is going to go to Reef. So Reef is a awesome abstract game by Emerson Masucci, where you're going to be placing these chunky Reef tokens onto your board, and you're trying to organize them in specific fashions so that way you can combo them and score points based on the pattern you've created. So I really like this system here. It's got an awesome way to set up the game where you're putting pieces initially, and I think that's great. So you have all of these different things to think about, starting from before the game even begins, and then trying to layer combos to get good card sets. So I really like this system here, but the thing that I love are those coral components. So they're these big chunky tiles. They're nice, awesome, bombastic colors. They actually did change the colors of these in the second edition of the game, but I do prefer that first edition. I like that deep red, and I like the green and the purples. I think they work really well. So they kept the yellow over, but I love these components. I love how chunky they are. Oh, they just look so good. And once again, multiple flavors here. They're going to last a while. This is all pretend, of course, but man, if these are real things, I would love a version of this where maybe it's like that same gummy consistency or even hard candy, either one. Personally, I prefer the gummies because you can eat more over a longer period of time. So I like that. I like chewing. This is so weird, but we're going to go with that. It's my number 7, the coral from Reef. And the last one that I'm going to talk about on this list is my number 6. This is from the game Caverna. So Caverna is an awesome worker placement game where you're going to be taking your pieces and going around in order to work on a farm. But you are dwarfs. You are cave farmers. So not only do you have the farmland that you're going to be working on, but you also have your own network system of caves that you're going to be working with. So it's your job to develop both of those sections in order to gain the most points by building these different buildings and hopefully having a successful family by the end of it. Now, my favorite component from this are actually one of the resources that you can create that's going to help feed your family, and those are the pumpkins. So these little pumpkins here, you can plant them in fields, and when you do, you can harvest even more, but these are cute, they're small, they're orange, they look like they have a great pumpkin flavor, and these remind me of something maybe from the Harry Potter universe, or a very fall treat where it tastes like pumpkins, it tastes like a pumpkin pasty or pumpkin pie, something delicious and small and tidbits. I think they sound incredible. So if these had a flavor, I'd be on that boat so quick. And that's my list. Those are my 15 through 6 of my top 10 delicious board game components. And once again, please make sure you check out Tikyjo's channel. The rest of our lists are there, and you can go check out what she enjoys in board games as well, her delicious board game components. But thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments or what are the things that you think are delicious in board games, I'd love to hear. But thank you so much for watching. Side Game Strong.